As your Aphra I come, investing the light of my causal body in resonance with yours for the victory of love, freedom, brotherhood throughout this earth. On this day I stand in Accra, in Ghana, in Cape Town and in Johannesburg, to invest a portion of that light of the presence with you for the victory of this year 2017, the initiation of new cycles of divine light, and for a magnet of sacred fire to be established where you stand, where you invoke the light, for a greater action of the manifestation of that divine beingness to be affirmed and to flow forth, north, south, east, and west. We are heartened that you are coming together with greater concord and divine affinity to invoke the sacred fire in these services and sessions. For you know that when your hearts are attuned one with another, when you put aside all differences of opinion regarding this or that situation, event, or person, and when you harmonize your being with the light, then we can step through the veil because of that manifestation of harmony and true brother-sisterhood. And you will see a swelling of the light. You will see an influx of greater abundance, both individually and collectively. And through that harmony, through that inner and outer peace, there will flow a greater action of God desire through you each one, blessed hearts, for heaven to descend upon earth. Yes, it is a pivotal time within this planet for transformational change. And each of you has vowed on the inner to be a nexus for the light to accommodate divine change upon earth. And as you are that light, as you are that alchemy of love within your soul, within your mind, within your heart, the violet light and all of its myriad manifestations of glory as freedom, justice, liberty, and alchemy emerge in miraculous ways from within the divine nexus of purity and possibility. I speak this day of the possibilities before you, each one, for God attainment, for your solar evolution, and for you to fulfill more of your divine plan through collaborative proactivity. Consider that you were the arbiter of the destiny of this planet and of your nation. That you are responsible for the evolution of every man, woman, and child. Consider what you would do, being at the helm of all that is about to transpire through the directed stream of the light of God consciousness descending into matter through the conscious choices of souls upon earth. How would you lead them? How would you inspire them? How would you meld the minds, hearts, and souls of all toward a one-pointed purpose of freedom, liberty, and justice for all? If you can see yourself in this seat of divine authority, and then act each day as if you were truly in that mode of leadership, then you will know what it is to be an initiate of the sacred fire, working directly with the Universal Great White Brotherhood. Then you will know how we collaborate in our councils, how, through divine intention, we move forward the plan for planetary peace. And being in this station of true love, all may be outplayed and objectified with great harmony, with great joy, with great light. The African Council has continued to meet and plan and strategize. And much of our strategies involve the work of the light bearers who know of our existence, who engage through daily prayers and invocations of the sacred fire to support our work and to bring it into physicality upon earth. Yet some of our work also involves the leadership of every nation within the African continent and beyond. And oftentimes the light that you invoke is spread out throughout this continent and her people to maximize the highest, the brightest, the best that can be brought to bear during any given moment, day, and hour, so that every man, woman, and child can move forward on their sacred journey into the light of the presence. If you only knew how important are those prayers that you give each day, dearest ones. If you saw the dynamic of how your calls, your invocations are instantaneously answered and utilized for the highest good, you would engage even more in this alchemy of spiritual invocation with us. And there could be a greater mitigation of certain darkness in certain areas of the continent, and especially in those nations where there has been a great compromise of the principles and values of a true God-centered life under the influence of the mighty I Am God presence. Thus it is imperative that more know of this work, that more begin to invoke the sacred fire through the use of the violet light and all of the 7 rays and the 5 crystal rays. It is imperative that you do that outreach through whatever means are at your disposal, and that you prepare assiduously for our words, our messages, our deliveries, so that we may mitigate more and more and bring forth our light into the equation of all the darkness, of all areas that require heaven's grace. Now I would speak somewhat of the plans for this year as we see them. A while back, through the Afra services on Sundays in the United States of America, broadcast throughout the world, you focused on every nation upon this continent, did your research, shared what you learned about the history and the current dynamics of what was transpiring within these nations. And you made those specific calls that did indeed, blessed ones, have a great impact in these areas. It is time that you focus on those nations where the greatest darkness is being manifest, and that your calls are very, very specific to uproot that darkness and to supplant it with light and the energies of spirit. You can begin with South Africa and create your call sheets that are so specific that the angels of the sacred fire will go directly into those areas that you specify. And we will do our cleanup work. We will do even the miraculous, hand in hand with you, your higher selves active with us. And there will be a great influx of light and a restoration of the true values and principles of harmony, brother, sisterhood, and justice. If you work in concord to do this, you will see great changes in coming months and years. Yet the work begins now, and you can be engaged, each of you, in some way in this group alchemy. You can do your treasure maps, both individually and collectively, for what you desire to objectify this year. And if perchance you sponsor this one coming back to your nation, you can set the table. You can recommend where to go, what shall be shared, and the specifics that will make the greatest impact on your nation and her people. You have your local messenger, and I adjure you to work more collaboratively with this one, at least once every 1 or 2 months, in discussions about how your efforts may move forward. Because when two are gathered together, there is a greater action of the sacred fire. Therefore, set up these monthly or bi-monthly meetings over Skype and see how, through this collaboration, a greater action of light may be manifest for all Africans. Now I dip into the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean and draw forth cosmic substance of the Divine Mother and spread it across the nations of this continent, for the enlivening of every soul, for the enriching of their spirits with great God power, God wisdom, and God love. Each one's threefold flame receives an infusion this day of the breath of the Holy Spirit through my breath. And if some choose to respond to this inflaming, fiery manifestation through that sacred fire breath, there may be a renewal of God glory in many spheres. There may be transmutation, miraculous, and victories fulfilled in a multitude of domains. To the disciples in Johannesburg, I say that I am coming. I am coming again and again unto you, until you have rooted out every vestige of immaturity, of a lack of true understanding of one another's hearts, beings, and minds. And that if you can truly pool the resources of your beings in complete 100% harmony, understanding, and brother sisterhood, that you will see a greater action of sacred fire for the mitigation of much more than you can even imagine now in your city, in the environment, in the leadership of your nation, and in your economy. You see, dearest ones, if you cannot maintain complete 100% harmony and a sense of oneness and unity with one another, how can you expect it within the totality of your nation and in your local environs? It all begins with you, your consciousness, your surrender, your acceptance of the Christ Buddha self of every other individual as a part of self, and the sense of oneness and unity restored through the conscious collaboration of your hearts will truly mean that all divisiveness, all division is no more. It is eradicated, annihilated by the presence, the great God presence of all of you working in unison and in true divine love. Now I see that many of you require a little boost within your physical body temples for the burdens of living upon this earth, especially during your middle-aged years and moving into your elder years. For some are great. I would relieve some of these burdens now, not all, but some, through the action of sacred fire of the mercy flame that I am also privileged to bear as one action of the violet light. And so I say, blaze forth that mercy light into these body temples now. Blaze forth your mercy light into these body temples now. Blaze forth the mercy light into these body temples now. O sacred fire, work within them to harmonize and balance atoms, molecules, cells, and systems, so that they are whole, body, mind, and soul, now and forever. I extract certain toxins, substances, and densities that have beset you, some through habit patterns that you know would be better to let go of, the intake of noxious air, the intake of an overabundance of sugar or caffeine or red meat. And if perchance you discipline yourself in a greater action through diet and through harmony within yourselves, within your soul, you will see a lightening of the load that you bear and a gradual increase in that light that you can contain within your physical body temples. If you truly do study that work that beloved Master Hilarion has recommended, Medical Medium by Anthony William, many of you will have greater health and well-being. Take our words to heart, blessed ones. Do not ignore them or think that they are for others and not for you. When you work on and within yourself first and foremost, the transformative action of the light within you will also work miracles and wonders for many whom you represent, whom you serve on inner levels through your great God attainment, through your love, through your inner peace. Now I would like to offer the President of the International Council an opportunity to ask me a question. You may type it in the chat. Blessed Ralph, if you choose. I will address this on behalf of all disciples of the living Word in South Africa. The question is, how can we better involve ourselves with African communities here in South Africa? Find common points of concern and the gifts that you have that can be utilized interchangeably. Some of these gifts involve teachings that you are privileged to know and understand that can be shared within other communities that will assist them in their work and service. And some involve understandings that you require from them in order for your calls, invocations, and prayers to be more specific and directed into areas of concern. The work of Ubuntu is preeminent, is very important. Continue with this work. Seek means and ways of spreading the message. Take the lists of light bearers organizations from the expo from last year and other expos that you will plan to be at, and create a collective email sharing some of what you are doing that you know that they will be responsive to in terms of the fact that you are praying for all of them and naming their organization and their leadership in your prayers, which can be part of these call sheets that you create, and that you are working constructively at a spiritual level to engender greater light, consciousness, cooperation amongst all of like mind and heart. Imagine that these leaders of these organizations know that you are praying for them on a regular basis. They will be excited and joyous to meet you, to greet you, and to work with you. Allow them to share their burdens, their concerns, and ask them what they would like you to pray for. This is what we do in our councils. We collaborate with various masters of other councils, share our concerns, and there is a time of silence where we go within, contact the great light of the infinite presence of God, and ask that light go forth in all of its glory and beingness to surround the councils, their leaders, and the situations that they bring to the table that require adjudication and a response from heaven. You can take this understanding to heart, and in your prayers there is a deep respect and reverence for these leaders of other organizations that are trying to do their best to bring light to the table. You can do this for the leadership of your cities and very mindfully send light into all situations that you know are touchy or require an action of transmutation or God consciousness. There are many communities in South Africa. Every village is a community, every city, every church, every spiritual organization. And when the light goes forth into each one of these communities, there is an alchemy of transformation that can occur that is specific to that community based on the causal bodies of the members, based on the karma of each member as a part of the whole. And so all of these dynamics are very interesting to observe, and yet God is involved in all of them. The divine light may be invested very specifically in every situation. So allow the Holy Spirit to breathe the breath of life, of love, of brother, sisterhood, and freedom into each of these communities through your meditation practice, being conscious and breathing spiritual fire into them. You can have pictures and photos, you can have the names as already mentioned, and you can simply meditate in silence and see that light going forth to invest God's grace into and within those communities. Certain light bearers within them will respond to what you are offering, to your message, the truths that we convey through you and unto you. So in time, this work will bring great fruit. And the fruit is primarily brother sisterhood, harmony, peace, cooperation. Thank you for this question, beloved Ralph, on behalf of all. Now I seal you each one in the light of your presence, in the light of pure divine joy, radiance, and holiness. Remember that you, each one, are co-created in the image and likeness of God. When you affix your attention, your gaze, your energies upon your divine self, and remember who you are as a beautiful son or daughter of God, created in that immaculate image of the Eternal One, male or female. Then you have restored the sense of who you are, of peace, and of all possibilities for true divine love to be reaffirmed everywhere upon earth. Thank you, blessed hearts, for your listening ears, your graceful souls, your mindful spirits, and your loving hearts. I am your Afra, loving you unto your victory in the eternal light of God that always prevails.